"Don't judge me, sir. My mother, she made me this way." Those were the first words the young cowboy whispered, his voice trembling like a man confessing to a priest. Blood was drying on his knuckles. Tears were hiding behind hard eyes that didn't want to cry. And the older cowboy, standing in front of him, Callum Hayes, felt something inside him shift. The boy wasn't dangerous because he wanted to be. He was dangerous because someone raised him that way. Callum didn't know then that by sunset he would do the unthinkable, something that would change both their lives forever. Callum Hayes had spent 20 years roaming cattle trails, staying far from trouble and even farther from people who needed saving. He believed life was simpler that way, but everything changed the morning he found a young cowboy leaning against an abandoned barn, cradling a wounded horse and shaking like the whole world was collapsing on his shoulders. The boy was no older than 20, maybe less. A revolver hung loose in his hand, not threatening, more like a burden he couldn't put down. His clothes were ripped, his face bruised, and fear lived in his eyes the way ghosts lived in old houses. Callum approached slowly, palms forward. "Son, put the gun down. You're hurt." The boy's breath hitched. I can't let go." She said never to let go. She said weakness gets you killed. Callum paused. "Who said that?" The boy lifted his head, voice cracking. "My mother, she made me this way." The words didn't sound like blame. They sounded like a confession he wasn't ready to make. The horse groaned. The boy's hands trembled harder. Callum crouched beside him and gently touched the animal's neck. "She's in pain. Let me help." Surprisingly, the boy didn't resist. Maybe he was too tired to fight. Maybe he was craving a gentleness he'd never been given. Callum cut the saddle straps and freed the horse's chest, whispering to calm it. The boy watched with eyes he didn't know could soften. "What's your name?" Callum asked. "Evan." "Well, Evan, nobody should suffer alone, not even you." Evan swallowed hard. "That's all I ever learned, survive alone. Don't trust nobody, don't love nobody. My mother, she taught me to shoot before I could ride, said good men finish last and fools who care get buried first." Callum recognized that kind of pain. He had lived it once too. They got the horse stable inside the barn. Evan kept pacing like a caged animal. "You don't get it," he whispered. "If she finds out I lost the horse, she'll come for me. She always comes for me." "Your mother?" Callum frowned. Evan nodded. "She runs a gang. I was raised in it, born into it. I didn't get a choice." Callum felt something tighten in his chest. A boy who never had a chance. That was the worst kind of prisoner. When Evan finally collapsed from exhaustion, Callum stayed awake all night, watching over him. Not because he had to, but because something in Evan reminded him of the son he never saved. And he didn't know it yet. But he would soon be forced to do something no man ever wants to do, the unthinkable. Evan woke before dawn, heart pounding, breathing heavy. "She's coming. I can feel it." Callum put a hand on his shoulder. "Nobody's coming for you here." But Evan shook his head. "You don't know her. My mother doesn't stop until she gets what she wants, and she proved it." By noon, distant dust rose on the horizon, riders, armed, fast. Evan froze. "She brought the whole gang. For me." Callum grabbed his rifle. "Not for you, for control. People like her fear losing the one person they can rule over." Evan looked broken, like a man standing between the life he knew and the life he wanted but didn't believe he deserved. "What do I do?" he whispered. "You choose," Callum said. "Right here, right now. Do you stay the boy she made, or the man you want to be?" The riders thundered closer. Evan's hands shook. Memories of beatings, punishments, fear, everything his mother carved into his soul flooded. "I'm scared," he admitted. "I know." Callum handed him a second rifle. Courage ain't the absence of fear. It's choosing to stand anyway. When Evan's mother arrived with her gang, she tilted her head and smirked. "There you are, my boy. Running?" After everything I taught you?" Evan stepped forward. His voice trembled, but he spoke. "You didn't teach me to be strong. You taught me to be scared." Her smile vanished. Callum stood behind him, silent but solid as a mountain. "You belong to me," she hissed. Evan shook his head. "No, not anymore." She signaled her men to raise their guns. What Callum did next was the unthinkable. He stepped ahead of Evan and placed himself between the boy and the gun barrels. "If you want him," Callum said coldly, "you go through me." Evan gasped. No one had ever protected him before. No one had ever chosen him. The gang hesitated. Callum wasn't just any cowboy. His name carried weight. He had ended worse men than them. His defiance shook the entire line of riders. Unexpectedly, Evan's mother lowered her pistol. "If he wants to walk away," she said slowly, "then let him see what it feels like when the world stops protecting him." She turned and rode off. The gang followed. Evan fell to his knees, shaking with relief, fear, and disbelief. "You didn't have to do that," he whispered. "Yes, I did," Callum said. "Because no one becomes who they're meant to be until someone believes they can." Evan wiped his tears, the first honest tears of his life. "What now?" "You start over," Callum said. "You learn the world ain't what she told you. And if you're willing, I'll teach you." For the first time, Evan smiled. Small, fragile, but real. And as the sun set behind them, he whispered, "Thank you for doing what no one ever did, for choosing me." Callum placed a hand on his shoulder. "Son, I didn't choose you. You chose yourself. I just stood beside you." And with that, a broken boy took his first step into becoming a man, proving that sometimes the unthinkable act is believing someone is worth saving.